Seeing better choices, myocardial infarction and cerebral infarction are getting younger amid the epidemic outbreak. Chinese companies lay off workers. Globally renowned cybersecurity firm Trend Technologies R&D Center withdraws from China. Mocking Chinese AI used to monitor people and wallets, Zhilonghui founder silenced on Weibo. Beijing allows visa-free entry for foreigners, while confiscating passports of Chinese nationals. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Seeing better choices, Wall Street awakened to China investment risks. Wall Street has begun to retreat from China as its economic growth slows and its real estate market struggles. Executives at BlackRock Investment Institute, BII, a research institution affiliated with the world's largest asset management company, said on Wednesday, December 6, that the slowdown in China's economic growth trend means that there are better investment opportunities in other emerging markets outside China. Wei Li, BlackRock's global chief investment strategist, said that from a risk-adjusted perspective, investing in China has become less attractive, which is why the agency lowered its investment rating on China earlier this year. Alex Brazier, deputy director of BlackRock Investment Research Institute, also said that China's economic growth momentum has weakened, triggering investors' more pessimistic forecasts. As China's demographic structure changes and productivity growth slows, its economic growth has dropped from 10% in the past to 5% currently. International agencies assess that by the end of this decade, its economic growth rate may remain around 3%. The 2023 Global Public Investor Survey released by the official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, OMFIF, last week showed that nearly 40% of large funds marked India as the most attractive emerging market. Less than a quarter chose China, 23%. Wall Street's awakening to China investment risks. The exit of Wall Street, once one of the Chinese government's most trusted allies in the United States, is further evidence that China's decades-long boom is coming to an end. A few years ago, BlackRock and top index company MSCI added Chinese stocks to some major indexes, which helped China attract investment from U.S. pension funds and endowment funds. The two companies are currently under investigation by the U.S. House Select Committee on the Communist Party of China for allegedly facilitating capital flows into China. When congressional hawks met with Wall Street financial tycoons in September, some financial executives admitted that Beijing's decisions have become more unpredictable and it has become impossible to rely on historical data to build funds focused on the Chinese market. A person who participated in related discussions said that U.S. financial industry executives have somewhat awakened to the risks of investing in China. According to public information, some hedge funds, including Bridgewater, have significantly reduced their holdings of Chinese securities. Carlyle and many other private equity investment firms have reduced the fundraising targets of their Asia funds or completely stopped raising funds for China. Mutual fund managers such as Vanguard and Van Eck are either exiting China or abandoning their business plans in China. Market strategists at some major Wall Street banks say most hedge funds and active managers who have sold off Chinese stocks are unlikely to return to Chinese stocks until China's economic growth prospects and U.S.-China relations improve significantly. Since August, more than $24 billion in foreign capital has withdrawn from China's A-shares. This is the largest and longest-lasting capital outflow since the Shanghai-Hong Kong Stock Connect was established in 2014. The MSCI China Index has fallen 10% this year and is likely to post annual declines for the third consecutive year. The decline in Wall Street investment funds has made the Chinese economy even worse. At the same time, China is facing a wave of exodus of foreign manufacturing factories. Data for the third quarter showed that assets such as factories and stores in China experienced net outflows of foreign capital for the first time since the late 1990s. Chinese companies lay off workers leading to continuous protests. Shoe factory closure triggers 1,000-person strike. The Chinese economy is facing difficulties, with a large number of companies struggling to survive. Many are closing down, laying off workers, or leaving China. This has led to major group protests over inadequate compensation. Since November 30th, over 1,000 workers at Jiangsu Yangzhou Baoishu Company Limited have launched a massive strike, demanding reasonable compensation for the sudden announcement of production stoppage and contract termination. Bowie's veteran employee Wang Qi, pseudonym, told the Epoch Times on December 6 that the factory suddenly issued a closure notice on November 29, stating that due to the impact of the international environment, the pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war, import-export tariffs, labor costs, U.S. interest rate hikes, the company will shut down on December 31, 2023, and terminate labor contracts with employees. The notice did not specify a detailed plan, and Wang Qi and other workers believe that the factory's approach is unclear, leaving the final compensation amount up to the company's discretion. The workers, refusing to accept this, began to strike. Wang Qi said, "Over 1,000 people are on strike. If the factory acted according to legal requirements, no worker would cause trouble, and the strike is a last resort." The Bowie workers began their strike on November 30, and the factory ignored it. On the morning of December 6, worker representatives and 300 to 400 workers went to the Yangzhou City Government Petition Office to express their demands, asking the factory for reasonable compensation and a detailed plan. Wang Qi mentioned that the factory had been preparing to shut down for relocation since last year. Starting last year, the factory gradually dismantled production lines and reduced wages. At its peak, there were over 4,000 workers, but now only about 1,500 remain. The dismantled equipment has been gradually removed. It was rumored that once the production lines were dismantled, no new personnel would be hired, and the factory would move to Indonesia. He said that since this year, workers' incomes have significantly decreased. Last year, including overtime pay, they could earn over 4,000 yuan in a month, but this year, even with overtime, the pay is mostly between 2,300 to 2,600 yuan. Wang Qi noted that in the current difficult environment, older workers in their 40s and 50s, including himself, find it very hard to find new jobs after being laid off. Another worker who had been in the factory for 15 years told the Epoch Times that the strike has not stopped, and they hope for reasonable compensation. Bowie's official website shows that the company was established by an investment from Taiwan's top 100 enterprises Po Chin Group and Lai Group in the Yuyuan Industrial Park, Yangzhou Economic Development Zone. It specializes in producing vulcanized shoes and casual shoes for international top brands. The sluggish Chinese economy has led to layoffs, closures, relocations, or extended holidays for large, medium, and small enterprises in various sectors, causing a wave of protests nationwide over issues such as unemployment, wage arrears, and inadequate compensation. However, due to the strict internet control by the Chinese Communist Party, it is difficult to publish related protest information online. In the past 2 months alone, there have been dozens of such incidents. Mocking Chinese AI used to monitor people and wallets, Zhilonghui founder silenced on Weibo. The Chinese Communist Party boasts of being an AI superpower. The founder of Zhilonghui, a well-known investment research platform in mainland China, pointed out that Chinese AI is mainly used to monitor people and keep an eye on people's wallets. His Weibo account was quickly silenced and cleared. Screenshots circulating online show that on December 2, the Weibo account Gailong mentioned the number of Chinese AI patents, describing it as data that at first glance seems exciting, but upon closer examination, is rather sigh-inducing and embarrassing. The post stated that the authorities recently officially announced China's number of AI patent applications as the highest in the world. However, in reality, the most common end use of AI in China is in security, accounting for 53.8%, followed by finance at 15.8%, and then marketing at 11.6%. The post commented, "Our high-tech AI is primarily used to monitor people and their wallets." Currently, the Weibo account is in a silenced state. Additionally, the number of all Weibo posts on the account's homepage shows as 4, indicating that almost all of its posts have been cleared. As of December 7, the Weibo account of the founder of Zhilonghui remains silenced. Gailong has 378,000 followers and is verified as the founder of Zhilonghui Technology Development, Shenzhen Company, Limited. Zhilonghui claims to be China's leading global investment research platform, providing information services for overseas investment and financing, with tens of millions of members. The founder, Chen Shouhong, graduated from Zhongnan University of Economics and Law with a PhD in finance, uses the pen name Gailong, and is currently the chairman and CEO of Zhelonghui. Regarding the silencing of the Zhelonghui founder on Weibo for pointing out that Chinese AI is mainly used to monitor people, many netizens on X platform, formerly Twitter, commented, his statement was immediately confirmed, it's proven, he was being watched, knowing this and still speaking out shows confusion. Other netizens harshly criticized the Chinese Communist Party's tactics of controlling the people. Next, AI will be used for public opinion control, a powerful nation with a stability maintenance machine. What he, the founder of Zhelonghui, said is obviously the truth. Despite rapid technological advancement, there is an undeniable phenomenon. In China, the personal privacy of ordinary people is almost completely stripped away, while those high-ranking officials remain shrouded in mystery. Their wealth and nationality are like treasures buried deep underground, elusive to the public. Research data from 2018 shows that the market size of AI plus security software and hardware in China reached 13.5 billion yuan. Video surveillance accounted for nearly 90%, becoming the main focus of AI plus security. Additionally, the market for products like facial recognition gates and access control systems is also relatively large. Beijing allows visa-free entry for foreigners, while confiscating passports of Chinese nationals. After establishing unilateral visa-free agreements with 6 countries, including France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Spain, and Malaysia, and planning to enhance personnel exchanges with Singapore through a 30-day reciprocal visa-free arrangement, the CCP has decided to continue reducing visa fees for over 10 other nations. According to the Consular Affairs Department of the CCP's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the plan will be implemented from the 11th of this month until the end of next year. Over this span of more than a year, visa fees for trips to China will be reduced by a quarter, collected at 75% of the current fee standard. Simultaneously, Chinese embassies and consulates abroad will also decrease visa fees in response to travel to China. Notably, the provided information clarifies that this policy is not directed at specific countries but is a global, all-encompassing measure. World News Network posits that the CCP is employing this measure to counteract the continuous decline in overseas tourists visiting China. However, even as the CCP actively works to attract foreign tourists to China, it has reintroduced the practice of confiscating Chinese passports. On December 2nd, the video host of Yaya Global Diary released a video stating that on her first day back in China after 4 years abroad, her passport was confiscated by customs. At 2 a.m., Yaya went live, expressing disappointment as she spoke to the camera about the confiscation of her passport by Chengdu Customs. On my first day back in China after 4 years, my passport was actually confiscated. Can you imagine? At Chengdu Immigration Customs, they declared my passport invalid. Then they claimed they didn't know the specific reason. They asserted it was a decision made by the Zhangping Immigration Bureau in my hometown, and I needed to return to my hometown to apply. Yaya emphasized, my passport is the most important thing to me because I am a global travel show host, and that passport also has a 5-year visa for Brazil. However, Yaya's case is not isolated. The internet has recently been flooded with information about demands for civil servants, teachers, and public institution employees to surrender their passports. Several netizens shared their perspectives. Alas, in this communist country, the people are just like leeks and human resources. If the communist regime doesn't fall, the people won't have it good. Or some say, once you come back, don't think about going out again, stay here and love the country well. Don't go abroad and waste the country's foreign exchange. If you come back, you're falling into a trap. They just want you never to be able to leave the country. In May of this year, the human rights organization Protection Defenders released a report stating that the CCP has intensified restrictions on people leaving the country in recent years. CCP customs may prevent individuals from leaving the country at the border, confiscate passports, and at times directly reject passport applications or renewals. The report underscores that the CCP authorities utilize exit restrictions for various political purposes, including silencing activists, coercing the return of overseas individuals by restricting their families from leaving, controlling minority groups and religious organizations, engaging in hostage diplomacy, and intimidating foreign journalists. The report noted that in late April, China enacted amendments to the counter-espionage law, expanding the CCP government's authority to restrict both Chinese and foreign nationals from leaving China. Protection defenders estimated that there might be tens of thousands of current exit restriction cases in China, many lacking legal basis and violating the international human rights guarantee of freedom of movement. Mr. Mike Gallagher, chairman of the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on China Affairs, remarked, "The Chinese Communist Party fears Chinese people escaping its control because it fears that Chinese people abroad will speak out about the party's atrocities. Under authoritarian surveillance, these exit restrictions are very effective, and we must continue to condemn the Chinese Communist Party's human rights violations while also exposing its methods of suppressing the Chinese people." Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.